it gives me a great pleasure in taking part in this conference, because what we thought was that this movement is very powerful only in Tamil Nadu because of Thandai Periyar. But it had spread to all states, and many states are following, and many states, the leaders and writers from many states have chosen to translate Periyar's books into their language and take it to the people. Is really a great thing which I am astonished to note. Because rationalism is not something new. What they say is, animals have 5 senses and human beings have 6 senses. The 6th sense is rationalism, that's all. Nothing beyond that. Rationalism is the 6th sense. To find out, to study everything and find out whether it is scientifically right or scientifically wrong. That is the one difference which the human beings have. But great attempts were taken to make the human beings as animals and treat them as fools without any scientific. The difference between what is rationalism, any subject, when we think of it scientifically, it should be right. But what is happening here is, most of our beliefs are based on mythology. What we had seen in... India is a very ancient country. I can only compare 4 countries in the world which are very old and have many writings, literature, everything. One is the Greece, then Rome, then Egypt and India. The remaining countries are almost newly formulated. What had happened in Greece and Rome and Egypt is that they had many gods, polytheism, they had many sound literature, they had administrative setup, everything. But even in India, India was not a single country. I can say that until 1947, India was not a single country. They say that India was made by rishis and others. India was never a single country until 1947. And Britishers did not rule the entire India. If you see historically, they ruled Madras Presidency, Bombay Presidency, Calcutta Presidency and central provinces. The remaining areas were ruled by kings. Even in the south of Vindhyas, we can see Mysore Presidency was ruled by a king. Travancore was ruled by a king. Hyderabad was ruled by a king. The remaining parts were ruled by the Britishers. After 1947, the senior leaders of the Congress party, like some senior leaders, they wanted to have a united India. They went to every king and asked them to join India. It is not a costless joining. They had to pay privy purse to every king every year until 1970. Otherwise, those kings would have gone away. So, India consists of many countries, and each country had their own language, had their own culture, everything. Particularly, I want to speak about the land south of the Vindhyas. The land south of the Vindhyas. I have told that there are 4 countries where literature and everything was well established. We had Greek literature, Roman literature, Egyptian literature and Indian literature. I can say that here, before 2000 years, the south of Vindhyas, the land which falls in south of India, is an equanimous society. I can proudly say that, because in all these languages there were many literatures 2000 years back. But you cannot see one woman poet in either Greek, Rome Egypt or any other land, but you can say even in Sanskrit, there are about 7 classical languages we speak of them. 6 or 7 classical languages. A classical language is a language which is in existence for more than 2000 years. That is what Professor George Hart had defined it. But in Tamil Nadu, in Tamil, there were 53 women poets who were honored and respected because this culture is an equanimous culture. We had one Auvayar, one poet, one lady poet, I can say. She had gone to speak between 2 kings, convinced them and stopped a war. A woman could do this only in south of India, Vindhyas. There it is not possible. Their stories are not our stories. Ramayana or Mahabharata, whenever I read Ramayana, my thought will go to Greece. Because what I see is, there is a story in Greek language, 2000 years back, the Helen of Troy. I don't find any difference between Helen of Troy and Ramayana. Helen was captured by some kings of Troy. They tried to bring her back and they built a big horse. It is called Trojan horse. They put their army people inside and stopped it in front of the Troy palace. And in the night they took the horse inside, and those people in the horse came out, fought and took Helen back to their country. That is the same story as Ramayana. It's all mythological. And we say that Ram. And there are 2 major gods in this country. One is Shiva, the other is Vishnu. Why I am telling this is that there were 2 religions in this country, 2 major religions which were fighting with each other. They say that today they call it as Hindu religion. It was not a Hindu religion. There were 2 religions. One was Shaivism, the other was Vaishnavism. And Lord Krishna took 10 avatars to kill 10 Saivites. Ravana was a Saivite. Hiranya was a Saivite. Whoever Krishna took avatar and killed were all Saivites. So it is a fight between Shaivism and Vaishnavism. And the stories, I don't know how we believe. Somebody was talking about going by Pushpaka Vimanam. Recently, the Archaeological Survey of India had given a certificate that the structure between Sri Lanka and India was not man-made. It is a natural formation. They say that it is a bridge built by Rama. All these things are making people foolish, that's all. See, everything was said in the name of God. Everything was said in the name of God. I can quote one more thing. Manu Dharma says that there are 4 classes of people by birth. And Kshatriyas are the people who can become kings. Nobody else can become a king. But in the south of Vindhyas, we had 3 major kingdoms, the Chera, Sola and Pandya. None of the kings were from Kshatriya class. They are all valiant leaders, good administrators, they became kings. They were not born Kshatriyas. But in the north, either in Maratha, Maurya, Gupta or Magadha Empire, one should be a Kshatriya to become a king. So even within this country, in the south of Vindhyas, people were equanimous, they respected everybody, they had regard for everybody. But what we are taught is that, no, God had said. God really had said. In Mahabharata, the portion, what we speak is a portion of the speech by Krishna in the war field it's part of the Mahabharata story. What he says is, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam. The God says, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam. That is, I have created these four Varnas. Bhagavad Gita. How can he create four Varnas? I don't know. He puts label on the people who are born and you go to this class, you go to this class, you go to this class. I don't understand. But that is the belief of the people. When we talk about Sanatana, we criticize Sanatana. I asked, what is Sanatana? The meaning of Sanatana is indestructible. The word term means indestructible. But what is indestructible? Nobody will answer you. Nobody will answer you because they know what it is. It is Manu Dharma. Manu Dharma is indestructible, but they will not boldly come and say no. India is a secular country. It is in the constitution. See, when you define a monarchy, what will you say? You will say the king and his subjects. A monarchy is defined or classified as defined as the king and his subjects. Whereas a democracy is called as the country and its citizens. So, if it is a monarchy, there are no citizens, only subjects of the king. But a democracy, we are not bothered by the rulers. It is the country and its citizens because the citizens have the right to elect their government. That is why the constitution, every constitution, world over, they give certain provisions as fundamental rights of the people. What does Article 25 says? Article 25 says, freedom of conscience, freedom of religion. That is what Article 25 says. This is a fundamental right. Even the Supreme Court had stated that the government has no business to meddle with the fundamental rights of the Constitution. This is a fundamental right. That is my right, your right. So this government, the Constitution has given us certain rights. The right says freedom of conscience, which means if my conscience says that there is no God, I can be an atheist. If my conscience says that there is only one God, I can follow it. If my conscience says that I can follow this religion, that religion, or the other religion, I can do it. Nobody can question. The government has no role to question that. That is our constitution. But calling this as a Hindu nation, I don't understand how they can call this as a Hindu nation. This was never a Hindu nation. It was what I see from the history is, it was either a Shaivite nation, Saiva religion, or a Vaishnava religion, Vaishnavite religion. And there are many religions which were started in India against this so-called Hindu religion. The Buddhism, the Jainism, the Sikhism, the Sarvaham, the Ashivagam, all these religions were against this religion because of the foolishness in this religion. The unscientific method to divide people is only in this religion. I have seen some Bengali translation of Tandai Periyar. I must appreciate one Bengali scholar, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, because he fought for abolition of sati, one thing. Secondly, in Calcutta, during the British rule, the people there, you know what people I am talking about, wanted a Sanskrit university. The British government wanted to set up a university, and those people had wanted a Sanskrit university. Raja Ram Mohan Roy wrote to England, the British Queen, saying that don't bring a Sanskrit university here. You bring a university which teaches English, because What is there in Sanskrit? Is there any mathematics, any science? Nothing. It talks about the life in this world and the upper world. It talks about other things which are not human. So don't bring Sanskrit university and make your citizens, because we are under British rule. Make your citizens, your young citizens, as fools and idiots. That is what Raja Ram Mohan Roy wrote. And he fought for Sati and got victorious, and Sati was abolished. We had a story here, Chilappadigaram, where the hero Kovalan was killed by the wrong judgment of the king. His wife Kannagi went to the court, fought with the king, proved that the king is wrong. And the king, Pandya king, fell down and died, lost his life. That story can be possible here, but not in the north. If Kannagi was there in the north, he would have been put to death along with her husband, Kovalan. That would have happened. And now, after so many years, this unity I like, and it should expand, because the people who were forcing these foolish things have taken the government in their hands. The government is with them. So they are trying to make us fools once again. They are doing everything to take this country back 200 years, 300 years, 400 years. So now it is the time for us to strongly work and defend our of rationalism, because rationalism is the one thing which makes a man as a man. Otherwise, you are not a man, you are not a human being. I am not a human being. I can either be a Sudra or a Kshatriya or a Vaisya or a Avarna. I cannot be a human being. I cannot go on the streets where the upper caste people are living. I cannot walk on the streets where upper caste people are living. I cannot talk ill about gods. I cannot say that Pushpa, before the US or any other country finding airplanes, 2000 years back we found the airplane. We cannot deny that. So such is the thing where the need of the people, rationalists, is most wanted during this time, wherein the government says, our governor also said, India was formed by rishis. I don't know, India as a country was formed only by privy person, not by rishis. So make your children think scientifically. Make your children, the next generation, to think scientifically, not to believe the old stories. Old stories are for the old timers, when we were not given education, because we were not bound to study. Shudras were not, they are not for studying, they have to work for the upper caste people. Then no education. So at that time, whatever they say, we believe. Now we are studying. We are getting our education because of the hard work of Tandai Periyar and leaders like Periyar all over India. Now we are studying, we are going to school. Nobody can stop that. We have a future. We have a future generation. We should not succumb to the pressure of the foolish people who rely more on false stories. So, at this point of time, I am happy that this conference is being conducted in Tamil Nadu, and I have seen many leaders, many writers who have translated the books of Periyar into various languages. I think about 16, 17 states representatives are taking part in this conference. It's a very happy thing. You have to fight in your state to ensure that rationalism is nothing but the sixth sense of a human being. A human, the animal, the difference between animal and, as I said earlier, the difference between animal and human being is the sixth sense. Let us follow the sixth sense and make our people feel that they are human beings. With these words, I thank you.